I live in Quebec. I've lived in BC. Something is very wrong about this smoke. I've lived in Canada my whole life. For the better part of a decade in BC and for the majority of it in the Ottawa area. Currently I'm not far from Ottawa on the Quebec side. Every summer in BC there is a fire season. This has been going on as long as most who live there can remember. Forests dry, and fires start mostly weather-induced lightning strikes and the like. But also from fires lit by humans. It happens every year in BC. And it's somewhat predictable. For the majority of my life I've lived in the Ottawa area. Summers usually are stormy and wet. Although there are dry spells which have happened. What makes this smoke strange is that there has been a continual onslaught of rain. Lots of it. It's not dry. It's rained heavy in the last couple days, and when it did in BC the smoke would dissipate and the fires would be reduced. The smoke would be massively reduced. Or disappear altogether. This is not the case with the current situation. Now here is an interesting data point. Planes have been dropping some kind of chemicals over areas of northern Ontario and Quebec. I have a friend who photographed one of these flyovers on his Facebook. He checked in with the local government who said they were dropping a chemical called BTK overhead. Of course they assured him it was nothing toxic. They are having caterpillar infestations in these areas, where they are going crazy on crops and gardens. Somehow I think there may be a link here. Nonetheless, I have also spoken to people who know volunteer firefighters in the area who were not asked to support, even after many dozens offered their support. Also strange, since Canada has paid exorbitant sums to fly-in crews from around the world and we still have smoke. It's just very strange. And I'm wondering if anyone else has information around this. It's not just arson or lightning. Something much stranger is taking place. I welcome your thoughts. I live in Ontario. The smell of the smoke is odd. Smells like plastic sometimes. But what really gets me is how regular and predictable this smoke is. Every morning around 9-10 a.m. the smoke comes in where I live. Then it hangs around all day and gets a bit worse leading up to around 1-2 p.m. Then in the evening, it starts to go away completely. Then it's gone at night. Next morning it starts up again. It's too regular. And it's been going on for several days at least. I live in NYS and I have never ever in my life seen winds coming south from Ontario, Quebec. I'm in NY State. I'm not used to wildfire smoke down here. What I noticed is that when I am outside during bad air quality days my eyes start burning almost as if they are filled with grit. It takes an entire day to resolve the issue. Sometimes more. I really don't have any proof. I just feel like whatever is happening is dangerous, unhealthy and intentional. Something about this doesn't seem like an accident. Maybe because it never happened before. And there are just too many things that are happening all the time that never happened before. Has anyone actually debunked the satellite video showing the fires starting all across the province simultaneously? That vid seemed fairly damning when I saw it. The smoke I'm smelling around the Lake Simcoe area in Ontario doesn't smell like campfire or brush fire. One day it smelt straight up like chemicals. Like what a golf course smells of after freshly being fertilized. With a mix of burning garbage like what a house fire smells of. I've been in me visiting family and the smoke is so dense it looks like fog in the morning evening. Came back from my honeymoon on Monday last week totally healthy. Since Wednesday I've had a very wet cough. Feels like pneumonia. When I cough I taste chemicals, plastic dust. Never thought I'd have issues with smog, dust, smoke and in general air quality living in the Midwest. But here we are. It's amazing the number of people who will correct you when you say chemtrails. They will say you mean contrails. And I'm like, nope. I mean chemtrails. And then they say okay. And back away slowly. Thinking you're a conspiracy nut. I mean, of all the conspiracy theories that may be way too far-fetched for some people. How can anyone not believe in chemtrails? They've been spraying chemicals on us for decades. Not at all surprised these are all starting more frequently right in time for climate change emergencies. The plebs will agree to being taxed into serfdom by governments. Lived in BC my whole life. Forest fire season is a thing. It always smells like wood smoke. And if it rains it is greatly reduced. If not cleared. Very odd. Maybe they stashed inconvenient chemicals in the deep woods of northern Quebec thinking it would never be an issue. And along comes a massive unforeseen eco-terrorist caused fire that burned those harsh chemicals. I've seen the notion of it being the oil shale deposits, with the crust starting to break. It is pure arson by WEF. Everything was on fire on the east coast of Canada. Houses with pets. Many murdered by arson. Middle of woods. And random stores and buildings would spark and catch on fire same time everything. It looked fake and just undeniable arson. Now the East Coast has rain X 24/7 since the fires. Never has there been this much rain and zero sun before. Arson and then damage control. They're trying to wipe away proof of the arson with weather machines. They wanted a nice climate change show, instead it was sloppy, horrible and clear-cut arson. Man, some of you guys really need to study forest fires and learn about the effects. Y'all read one Facebook posts and believe it. The reason they refused your friends is cause they are volunteer firefighters, they don't have the full certification or the knowledge to fight forest fires. I am one. Why do you think that raining in Gatineau means that it's raining hundreds and hundreds of kilometers up north? There is currently a massive mothership UFO sitting over Canada. And the smoke is being used as a screen. I'm a firm believer in depopulation. Seems all too weird, there's a ton of chemical fires and people smelling burnt plastic on the eastern side of the US and now Canada, which might be blowing down to the US. Maybe I'm wrong, I haven't been paying too much attention as I live in California. It just seems like these burning smells aren't good and can be causing huge harm to us as we breathe it in. It turned the frogs in my pond gay. How many homes, power lines, weed farms, and secret meth labs burned down? Potential conspiracy aside, they're dropping a shit ton of BT all willy-nilly from planes. Great idea. Target the local butterflies SMDH. This is beyond stupid. I would be livid based on that admittance alone. It reads like a poison attack to me. I know people in New York getting headaches from the smoke. I was looking into some fires of the past in Portugal, Spain, Greece, Germany, Sweden and Brazil. First thing you notice, it is arson. Second thing you notice is they let it burn. Their excuses why they don't put the fires out are a little different from case to case. But they all don't make sense, as they are letting it burn on purpose. They simply want these fires and they want them to burn.